It's 2 a.m., rain hammering the windows like accusations I can't ignore anymore. My hands tremble over the keyboard, fingers slick with sweat, as I hit send on an email that's been burning a hole in my soul for 2 years. The subject line? The truth about her name's perfect life. In that moment, I don't just expose lies, I shatter a facade built on my broken trust. And oh, the collapse that follows. It's poetry in slow motion. Her Instagram empire, her podcast deals, her best friend circle, all of it crumbles like ash in the wind. But rewind with me, because this revenge, it wasn't born in a night. It was forged in the fire of betrayal that started with a whisper and ended with her begging at my door. Stick around. If you've ever been played for a fool, this one's for you. If you've ever lain awake, heart pounding from a backstab that no one else sees, smash that like button right now. It tells the algorithm and the universe that stories like this matter. Subscribe for more raw, real revenge tales that hit where it hurts and heal where it counts. And comment below, ever exposed a liar? Let's unpack this one together. Let's start at the beginning, shall we? Not the polished version she sold to the world, but the gritty truth. The one that clawed at my insides until I couldn't breathe without tasting bile. My name's Alex. Yeah, just Alex, the guy who always played the supportive sidekick in her blockbuster life. We met in college, back when dreams were cheap and trust was free. She was Elena, vibrant, magnetic, the kind of woman who walked into a room and owned it without trying. Her laugh, like wind chimes in a storm, light but edged with something sharper. Mine, a rumble, low and forgotten in her spotlight. It was freshman orientation, sticky September heat clinging to our skin like regret we hadn't earned yet. I was the awkward engineering major, buried in circuit diagrams, dreaming of building apps that could change the world one line of code at a time. She was the communications whiz, already sketching podcast outlines on napkins, her eyes sparkling with that unfiltered ambition that made you believe she could bottle lightning. Our first conversation? Over lukewarm coffee in the student union, her spilling hers across the table, literally, and me handing over my napkin without a second thought. Oh God, I'm such a klutz, she laughed, dabbing at the stain with fingers that trembled just enough to make it endearing. Her cheeks flushed pink, not the fake blush of influencers we'd later mock, but real, raw vulnerability. I felt it then, that pull like gravity shifting. Here, I said, sliding my untouched cup her way, my voice steadier than my pulse. Disaster averted. She looked up, those hazel eyes locking on mine, and grinned. My hero. What's your name? Napkin Night? From there, it snowballed. Study sessions bleeding into late-night diners. Her head on my shoulder as she ranted about selling her story to the masses. I'd nod, sketching wireframes on greasy placemats while she painted her future in broad, vivid strokes. Imagine it, Alex, a podcast empire. Real talk, no filters. People spilling their guts. Me guiding them through the mess. Her voice would rise, hands gesturing wildly, nails painted that electric blue she swore brought luck. I'd chuckle, low in my throat, the warmth of her against me chasing away the chill of my own doubts. We were broke, yeah, ramen nights and borrowed Wi-Fi, but invincible, or so I thought. By junior year, we were inseparable. Labeled couple goals by friends who envied the ease of it. Not official, not yet. She dodged labels like they were taxes, but the way her fingers laced through mine during movie marathons. The soft press of her lips against my cheek after a bad exam, it screamed commitment without the cage. I poured everything into us. Saved every penny from my campus IT gig to surprise her with that vintage microphone for her first recording setup. Watched her light up, twirling it like a scepter, declaring, "This is it, babe. We're building something real." Babe. The word landed like a promise, warm and weighty in my chest. Graduation hit like a freight train. Caps tossed, diplomas clutched, and suddenly the real world loomed, all sharp edges and unpaid bills. I landed a junior dev role at a mid-tier tech firm, grinding code for apps that felt soulless but paid the rent. Elena? She hustled freelance gigs, her podcast Unfiltered Elena gaining traction on TikTok clips that went viral overnight. Spilling tea on toxic bosses, she'd caption, her face filling the frame with that signature smirk, half mischief, half menace. Views climbed into the thousands, then tens of. Sponsors trickled in, wellness teas, journaling apps. We celebrated in our cramped one-bedroom, fairy lights strung haphazardly, cheap champagne fizzing over the rims of mismatched glasses. To us, she'd toast, clinking her glass against mine, her free hand tracing lazy circles on my knee under the table. The air hummed with possibility, her perfume, jasmine and vanilla, wrapping around me like a spell. I'd lean in, heart thudding, and murmur, "Two empires." But even then, cracks spiderwebbed beneath the surface. Late nights, I'd wake to her scrolling feeds, thumbs flying, whispering to herself, "Not enough. Need more." I'd roll over, arm draping her waist, and she'd stiffen just a fraction, enough to notice if you knew her rhythms. "Go back to sleep, hero," she'd coo, but her voice carried an edge, like glass under silk. The injustice didn't announce itself with fanfare. It slithered in, quiet as fog. 6 months post-grad, she pitched her big break. A full-time gig with a lifestyle brand, Echo Vibes, needing a content creator to authentically rep their products. The catch? They wanted her single, relatable, the girl next door chasing dreams solo. She told me over takeout Thai, chopsticks paused midair, sauce dripping forgotten onto the carton. "It's just a narrative, Alex. Doesn't mean anything real." Her eyes darted to her phone, buzzing with notifications, and something in my gut twisted, not sharp, but insistent, like a knot tightening. I swallowed the burn in my throat, forced a smile that pulled at my cheeks like they were rubber. Sure, whatever gets you there. Internally, a storm brewed. Is this us then? Props in your storyline? But I shoved it down, because love, or whatever this was, meant bending. She leaned across the table, lips brushing my knuckles, and whispered, "You're my rock. This is for us." The words landed soft, but they echoed hollow, like a recording played too many times. From there, the lies layered on, subtle at first, like dust settling unnoticed. Social posts shifted. Us morphed into me-time montages, solo brunches, gym selfies, captions dripping empowerment. Learning to love myself first. Single and slaying. Friends texted side-eyes. "You too good?" I'd laugh it off in group chats, thumbs aching as I typed, "All good, just busy." But alone, in the shower steam clouding the mirror, I'd stare at my reflection, eyes shadowed, jaw clenched, and feel the powerlessness seep in. My chest would tighten, breaths shallow, as if the air itself conspired against me. She's rewriting us, and I'm letting her. Escalation came swift, an avalanche I couldn't outrun. Echo Vibes ate her time. Shoots in sun-drenched lofts, collabs with influencers whose smiles gleamed too bright, too curated. Our nights stretched thin. I'd cook dinners for one, plates cooling untouched as she dashed out for networking. One evening, I waited up till midnight, the clock's tick mocking me from the wall. The door finally creaked open, her heels clicking unevenly on the hardwood. She stumbled in, hair tousled, lipstick smudged. Not mine. "Late edit session," she mumbled, avoiding my gaze, slipping past to the bedroom. I followed, voice low, gravel scraping my throat. "Elena, talk to me." She peeled off her jacket, shoulders tense, the fabric whispering against skin that suddenly felt foreign. "I'm tired, Alex. Can we not?" But her phone lit up on the nightstand, a text preview. "Missed you tonight, babe. Round 2 tomorrow?" From a name I didn't know. Jax, collab king. My blood roared in my ears, hot and viscous, vision tunneling to that glowing screen. I snatched it up before I could stop myself, thumb swiping, photos, flirty threads, plans for off-script fun. She whirled, eyes flashing. "What the hell?" "That's private." Her voice cracked, high and defensive, hands balling into fists at her sides. I held the phone out, each word a blade. "Private? While I'm here holding down the fort you built on my scraps?" The room shrank, air thick with unspoken accusations. She snatched it back, chest heaving, and spat. "You're being paranoid. It's branding. Grow up." But her cheeks burned crimson, not from cold, from the lie scorching her from inside. That night, sleep evaded me like a thief. I paced the living room, floorboards groaning underfoot, fists clenched till knuckles whitened. Branding. Right. And I'm the idiot who believed in us. Dawn crept in, gray and unforgiving, painting the walls in shades of regret. She left for a meeting without breakfast, door slamming like a guillotine. I sank onto the couch, head in hands, the scent of her perfume lingering like a ghost, powerlessness wrapped around my ribs, squeezing till breaths came ragged. How long? How deep does this go? Weeks blurred into a haze of half-truths. She'd breeze in, all apologies and air kisses. Missed you, hero. But her eyes skittered away, landing on reflections in windows, always angling for the perfect shot. Our circle, that tight-knit crew from college, then started fracturing. Invites dried up. Whispers followed us at brunches. Elena's blowing up, they'd say, clapping her on the back while I nursed a beer, nodding like the invisible anchor. One night at a rooftop party, bass thumping through my soles, I overheard it. Her, laughing with Jax, arm slung casual around his waist. Alex? Oh, he's sweet. Keeps things grounded while I fly. Grounded. Like a weight, not a wingman. My stomach lurched, beer turning sour in my gut. I slipped away, weaving through bodies slick with sweat, the city lights blurring into neon streaks. Outside, wind whipped my face, carrying the distant honk of taxis like jeers. I leaned against the railing, chest heaving, tears pricking hot and unbidden. Underestimated, disrespected, played. The craving hit then. Not just justice, but validation. A scream into the void that she'd hear echo back. The breaking point arrived on a Tuesday, ordinary as dishwater. I came home early, laptop bag slung heavy over my shoulder, to find her on our bed. No, her bed now, apparently, live streaming a vulnerability vlog. Camera angled just so, capturing the rumpled sheets. Her in that silk slip I bought for her birthday. Guys, relationships are tough, she cooed to the lens, voice honeyed with faux wisdom. Sometimes you outgrow the safety net. Alex and I, we're on different paths now, but shout out to him. He's been my biggest supporter. Supporter. The word landed like a slap, my keys clattering to the floor. She froze, eyes widening in the screen's glow, then recovered with that performer's grace. Hey babe, join in? I stood there, doorway framing me like a tombstone, heat flooding my face till it burned. Different paths? My voice emerged low, controlled, too controlled, the kind that vibrates with barely leashed thunder. She ended the stream with a wink. Catch you next time, fam. And turned, legs folding under her, expression shifting to that practiced pout. Don't make a scene. It's content. Content, the damn cracked. I stepped forward, each footfall deliberate, the carpet muffling but not silencing the rage pulsing in my veins. Your life is my scraps, Elena. The late nights I covered shifts so you could record. The connections I introduced you to, now twisted into your authenticity. My hands gestured wildly now, mirroring her old habits, voice rising till it scraped raw. She stood, chin lifting defiant, arms crossing like armor. And I made it work. You were holding me back with your stability crap. Holding back. The words detonated something primal. My vision hazed red, fists clenching till nails bit palms, crescent moons of pain grounding me. This is it. The mask slips. Get out, I whispered. Then louder, the command echoing off walls that suddenly felt too close. Take your content and go. She laughed, sharp, disbelieving, grabbed a duffel, stuffing clothes haphazardly. Fine. You'll regret this when I'm on billboards. The door banged shut behind her, leaving silence thick as fog, my knees buckling to the floor. Sobs racked me then, ugly and unchecked, shoulders shaking as the weight of 2 years crashed down. Betrayal tasted metallic on my tongue, mingling with salt from tears. Powerless no more. Time to rewrite the story. Resolve hardened in the wreckage. That night I didn't sleep. Couldn't, with her ghost in every corner. Instead, I cracked open my laptop, fingers flying across keys not for code but for truth. Emails I'd archived. Screenshots of her borrowing my ideas for episodes, twisting my vulnerabilities into her relatable gold. Bank statements showing transfers from our joint account, our savings funneled to her side hustles without a word. $15 grand, poof, gone to Jax's collab trips, receipts mocking me from the cloud. Dawn broke, coffee bitter on my lips, as the plan coalesced. Not rash. No, this would be surgical, a scalpel to her empire's throat. Step 1, document. I pored over her feeds, cross-referencing timelines. That solo empowerment retreat, funded by my bonus, her posts timestamped from our bed. The toxic ex stories, veiled jabs at me, my clinginess painted as the villain in her hero arc. Each discovery fueled the fire, chest tightening with righteous fury, breath steadying into resolve. They'll see you for what you are. By week 2, I'd built a shadow profile, anonymous, meticulous. Threads compiling her deceptions, side-by-side comparisons of her original content, and my old voice memos she'd sampled without credit. Witness statements from our circle, pulled in coffee-fueled confessions. She asked me to lie about your breakup drama for her narrative. The file swelled, a digital guillotine blade sharpening. But revenge without foundation is just spite. I needed mine. So I quit the soul-suck job, cashed out what remained of our nest egg, irony twisting like a knife, and dove into my own venture. An app, Truth Vault, a secure platform for documenting betrayals, anonymizing exposés, turning pain into power. Code flowed like catharsis, nights blurring into days, Red Bull cans piling like trophies. Elena, meanwhile, ascended. Her podcast hit 100K subs, deals pouring in, book advances, speaking gigs. I watched from afar, gut churning at each milestone post. Her at TEDx light stages, voice booming. Vulnerability is my superpower. Superpower built on my spine. Invites to her launch party flooded mutuals' inboxes. Intimate affair, black tie optional. I RSVP'd under a burner. Shadow guest. The venue? A swanky rooftop in downtown, skyline glittering like false promises, string lights weaving illusions. Planning peaked that week. I scripted the drop, not a rant, but a presentation. Slides mirroring her aesthetic, pastel pinks laced with red flags. Timed for the after-dinner toasts, when champagne loosened tongues and guards. Rehearsals in my empty apartment. Mirror reflections staring back. Eyes steely, voice steady. This isn't about me, I'd practice, palms damp against podium props. It's about the lies we let slide. Fears nipped at heels. What if they side with her? What if I'm the villain? But determination drowned them. A low roar in my ears. Earned this. Deserved. Execution night arrived, air electric with autumn chill biting through my suit jacket. The elevator hummed upward, depositing me into a sea of designer labels and air-kissed cheeks. She held court center stage, gown shimmering emerald, my favorite color once, laughing with Jax at her elbow, his hand possessive on her low back. Sponsors clustered, microphones poised for her keynote, from heartbreak to hustle. I slipped to the shadows, heart hammering a war drum, laptop concealed in a slim case. Her speech unfolded like scripted silk. Slides of struggles, blurred faces for privacy, mine if you squinted. Applause rippled, warm and undeserved, as she beamed. To those who lifted me, and those I left behind, growth hurts, but it's worth it. The MC handed her the mic for Q&A, spotlights bathing her in gold. My cue. I stepped forward, case unzipping with a soft rasp, voice cutting through the hush like a blade. Beautiful words, I said, calm as a still pond hiding depths. Heads turned, murmurs rippling. Her eyes locked on mine, smile faltering, a glitch in the matrix. Alex? What are you? I ignored, plugging in, screen blooming behind her. The untold chapters. First slide. Our joint account ledger. Red arrows highlighting drains. Gasps dotted the air sharp as pins. While you hustled solo, Elena funded it on shared savings. $15K unconsulted. Here's the proof. She stepped forward, mic trembling in grip, voice pitching high. This is a misunderstanding. Private matters. But I advanced, slides ticking. Voice memos, her sampling my stories verbatim. Your vulnerability? Echoes of nights I bared my soul, uncredited. The crowd shifted, whispers swelling to waves. Is that true? Wait, that's him? Jax tugged her arm, face paling, but she shrugged him off, eyes wild now, mascara threatening to streak. Tension coiled, room temperature spiking, sweat beading my brow despite the chill. Short breaths, mine and theirs sinking in the standoff. And the circle? I pressed, voice dropping to a growl that vibrated my chest. Friends coached to lie about our amicable split for your brand? Text flashed, timestamps damning. A sponsor, the book deal guy, stood, brow furrowed. Elena, we need to talk. Her facade fractured then, lips parting on a gasp, hands fluttering like trapped birds. Alex, please. Off the record? No off record. The final slide. A live feed from Truth Vault Beta. Anonymous tips pouring in, corroborating her pattern. Pattern of deception, the header read, bold and unyielding. Chaos erupted. Phones out, recording the unraveling. She lunged for the projector cord, heel snapping on the grate, tumbling to knees with a thud that echoed louder than screams. Stop, it's not, I can explain. But explanations drowned in the tide. Sponsors fleeing. Jax muttering toxic under breath as he backed away. Our old crew exchanging horrified glances. I stood there, pulse thundering victory's march, as security ushered her out, gown hitched, sobs hitching in her throat. The rooftop emptied, lights flickering like dying stars, leaving me amid confetti of her fallen empire. Relief washed over, cool and cleansing, loosening the knot in my chest I'd carried too long. Justice. Finally. But the real collapse? It unfolded in the days that followed, a symphony of schadenfreude I couldn't look away from. By morning, Elena Exposed trended, my anonymous drop amplified by viral threads, dissecting every slide like forensic evidence. Her podcast? Suspended, sponsors citing authenticity breaches. The book deal? Cancelled mid-print run, galleys shredded in some warehouse, pages fluttering like white flags of surrender. Jax ghosted publicly. A curt IG story. Dodged a bullet. Red flags. His arm now around a new muse, her face a carbon copy but blander. She tried salvaging, desperate DMs to mutuals, voice notes cracking with pleas. It was all for the art. Help me spin this. But the circle closed ranks against her, confessions spilling in comment sections. She coached us to gaslight Alex. We were wrong. One by one, collabs crumbled, wellness brands issuing apologies. We value truth above trends. Her feed, once a shrine to shine, devolved to rants. Haters gonna hate. Stay tuned. But tunes silenced. Subs plummeted from 100K to 5K overnight, algorithm burying her like yesterday's news. The pinnacle? 2 weeks later, my doorbell buzzed at dusk, insistent as a heartbeat. I opened to her, disheveled, hoodie swallowing her frame, eyes red-rimmed and swollen, makeup a ghost of its former glory. Rain slicked her hair, dripping in rivulets down cheeks hollowed by skipped meals. Alex, she whispered, voice raw as stripped wire, stepping forward like she owned the threshold. But I blocked it, arm braced on the jam, the wood cool under palm. No anger left, just a vast echoing calm. Please, I messed up. Can we talk? For old times? Her hands twisted together, knuckles blanching, lower lip quivering in that practiced tremble. Up close, the facade's absence hit hard, wrinkles etching her eyes, skin sallow without filters. I studied her, the woman who'd once lit rooms now dimmed to flicker. Internally, a twinge. Not pity, but the scar's ache. Reminder of what was stolen. You built this collapse, Elena, own it. Talk? I echoed, voice even, laced with the steel she'd underestimated. You mean rewrite? No. Her face crumpled, shoulders slumping as sobs broke free. Guttural, unfiltered, the kind that rack your core. She slid down the wall, knees to chest, rain pooling around her like a moat. I lost everything. Jax, the deals, they think I'm a fraud. The word hung, bitter fruit of her harvest, and for a beat, triumph surged, hot, validating, flooding my veins like vindication's wine. Yes, feel the weight. But I crouched then, level with her ruin, voice softening not from mercy, but finality. You lost it when you started lying to yourself. To us. She looked up, hazel dulled to mud, grasping at my sleeve, fingers cold, desperate. Help me fix it? Like before, I peeled her hand away, gentle but firm, rising slow. The door clicked shut behind me, latch engaging with a decisive snick, muffling her wails to echoes. Inside, I leaned against it, breath steady, chest expanding free for the first time in years. Tears came then, not sorrow, but release. Hot trails carving paths of healing. Over. Earned. Truth Vault launched beta that month. Ironic timing. Users flocking to its promise. Document, expose, reclaim. Reviews poured in, gave me the voice I lost. My own arc? Interviews followed, not as victim, but architect. Panels on digital ethics, my story the cautionary spark. Elena? Last I heard, waitressing at a dive, phone silenced, rebuilding from scraps she once scorned. Karma's quiet work, but oh, the satisfaction. A deep, resonant hum in my bones, echoing fairness long denied. In the end, revenge isn't about destruction. It's reclamation. The lies collapsed, sure, but so did the chains holding me back. Justice? It's not always loud. Sometimes, it's the silence after the storm, where you finally hear your own truth. Who? If that didn't give you goosebumps of yes, finally, I don't know what will. Hit that like if Elena got what she deserved, drop a comment. What's the sweetest revenge you've pulled off or witnessed? Spill it, no filters. And subscribe, bell on, for weekly dives into stories that restore your faith in fairness. Thanks for riding this roller coaster with me. See you in the next one.